Good morning viewers. I am Dr.I.Jannathul Firthouse, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Department of Mathematics, A.D.M College for Women, Autonomous Nagapattinam. Now we are going to see the operation research. In operation research, now the topic is assignment problem. Now we are going to see the assignment problem. In assignment problem, there are two types. What are the types? Balanced assignment problem, unbalanced assignment problem. What is a balanced assignment problem? Balanced assignment problem means the number of rows is equal to number of columns. Unbalanced assignment problem means the number of rows not equal to number of columns. For example, now let us see one example in balanced assignment problem. Now the question is this. The number of rows is equal to number of columns, 4 rows and 4 columns. Okay. So, number of rows is equal to number of columns, that is 4 rows and 4 columns. That is, this is a balanced assignment problem. Okay. So, step 1. What is a step 1? In each row, we have to subtract the smallest element in each row. So, what is the smallest element in the first row? 10 is the smallest element in first row. So, we have to subtract 10 to all the elements and 10 to itself. So, we are getting 0, 15, 5 and 10. Okay. What is the minimum element in second row? Smallest element, that is the 5. 5 is the smallest element in second row. So, we have to subtract the second to all the elements in second row and itself. So, 10, 25, 0 and 10. We have to subtract. So, what is the minimum element of in third row? 12 is the minimum element in third row. So, we have to subtract 12 to all the elements and by itself. Okay. So, we have to subtract 35 minus 12, 23. 20 minus 12, 8. 12 minus 12, 0. 24 minus 12, 12. So, what is the minimum element in row 4, fourth row? Minimum element means 17 is the minimum element in fourth row. So, we have to subtract 17 to all the elements and by itself. So, we are getting 0, 25 minus 17, 8, 24 minus 17, 7, 20 minus 17, 3. This is a step 1. Subtract minimum element in each row. Okay, subtract minimum element in each row. Okay, step 1 finished. Now we are going to see the step 2. What is the step 2? You have to select the minimum element in each column and subtract all the elements and by itself. Similarly, in the step 1, likewise. Subtract minimum element in each column. Okay. So, minimum element in each column. What is the minimum element in first column? 0 is the minimum element in first column. So, the first column remains unchanged. Okay. So, 0, 10, 23 and 0 in first column. What is the minimum element in second column? Yes, that is 8 is the second, 8 is the minimum element in second column. So, we have to subtract 8 to all the 3 elements and by itself. So, what is the answer? 7. So, 25 minus 8, 17. 8 minus 8, 0 and 8 minus 8, 0. Correct? Is it correct? What is the minimum element in third column? Third column minimum element is 0. So, the third column remains unchanged. So, that is a 5, 0, 0, 7. So, what is the minimum element of the fourth column? 3 is the minimum element in fourth column. So, we have to subtract 3 to all the elements and by itself. So, 10 minus 3, 7, 10 minus 3, 7, 12 minus 3, 9 and 3 minus 3, 0. Now, we have to allocate the 0 in each column and each row. What are the conditions for allocating 0? In each row, we are having only 1 0. If there is 1 0 available, you have to allocate. Otherwise, if more than 1 zeros are there, you never allocate. Okay. So, in first row, how many zeros are there? In first row, only 1 zeros. So, we have to allocate. So, in our first row, we have to allocate 1 0. In corresponding, if there is any corresponding zeros occur, you make it cross. Okay. In second row, how many zeros are there? Only 1 0. There is a corresponding zeros are there, so you have to make it cross. In third row, how many zeros are there? In third row, now 2 0, but the 0 is making wrong. So, only 1 0, so you have to allocate. Automatically the corresponding zeros are making. In fourth row, how many 0? Only 1 0. Likewise, you have to check in column wise. So, in first column, how many 0? There is no 0. Likewise, the second column, third column and fourth column. Now, finally, we have to check each row and each column zeros are making allocation. So, first row, the 0 allocated, second row, third row and the fourth row. First column, second column, third column and fourth column. So the problem is over. So, in the question, the corresponding zeros, what are the questions? 10 plus 15 plus 30 plus 20. So, what are the answer? 50, 60, 75. 50, 60, 75 is the answer. And now we are going to see another example of the same type of the balanced assignment problem. Okay. What are the steps I have told you already in previous problem? First of all, we have to check whether the sum is balanced assignment problem or unbalanced assignment problem. Now we have to check the number of rows is equal to number of columns. The number of rows 4 and number of columns 4. So, 4 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so that is balanced assignment problem. Step 1. In first row, what is the minimum element in first row? First row, the minimum element is 10. So we have to subtract 10 to all the elements and by itself. So now what is the answer? 0, 2, 9 and 1 in first row. What is the second row? What is the minimum element in second row? 5 is the minimum element in second row. So what is the answer? 0, 5, 2 and 3. Okay. What is the minimum element in third row? 11 is the minimum element in third row. What is the answer? 1, 3, 2 and 0. 1, 3, 2 and 0. What is the minimum element in fourth row? 8 is the minimum element in fourth row. So we have to subtract 0, 7, 3 and 1. So in step 1, subtract minimum element in each row. Step 2, what is the minimum element in each column? Likewise, we have to check in column wise. So what is the minimum element in first column? 0 is the minimum element in first column. Okay. So in first row, in first column 0 is the minimum element. So the first column remains unchanged. So 0, 0, 1, 0. In second column, what is the minimum element in second column? 2 is the minimum element in second column. Okay. 2 is the minimum element in second column. So we have to subtract 2 to all the elements and by itself. So 0, 3, 1 and 5. Is it correct? Yes. In third column, what is the minimum element in third column? 2 is the minimum element in third column. So we have to subtract 7, 0, 0 and 1. 2 minus 9 minus 2, 2 minus 2, 2 minus 2 and 3 minus 2. Okay. So what is the minimum element in fourth column? 0 is the minimum element in fourth column. So the fourth column remains changed. So remains unchanged. So subtract minimum element in each column. Okay. Okay. Now we have to allocate a 0 in each row and each column. First you have to see the first column, first row, how many zeros are there? 2 zeros. What are the condition? If there is only 1 0, you have to allocate. Otherwise, you will never allocate. You will move on to the next row. Okay. So in next row, how many zeros are there? In next row, there are 2 zeros. So no possible. So you have to move on third row. Third row also having 2 zeros. So move on to the fourth row. We are having only 1 0. As per the rule, we have to allocate the 0. As per the rule, the corresponding elements, make it cross. Okay. So likewise the row, likewise the column you have to check. In first column, in second column, how many zeros? Only 1 0. You have to allocate column wise, you have to check the row. Okay. So third row column, how many 0? 2 0. So no possible to allocate the zeros. So move on to the fourth row. In fourth column, how many zeros are there? Only 1 0. As per the rule, the corresponding row we are getting, we make it cross. So obviously only 1 0. So you have to allocate. So you have to check the row wise and the column wise. You have to allocate. You have to check all the zeros are making allocation. In each first row, 0 get allocated. Second row, third row and fourth row. First column, second column, third column and fourth column. We have to allocate. So you have to check the question. 12, 7, 11, 8. So what is the answer? 19 plus 19. The answer is 38. Okay, is it clear? Now we are going to see another one example of assignment. Okay, now let us see the problem. How many rows are there? 4 rows. And how many columns are there? 3 columns. Whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced? Definitely it is an unbalanced problem because number of rows is not equal to number of columns. Number of rows, number of rows 4 not equal to number of columns 3. So first of all we have to balance the problem. So step 1, so you have to balance, you add one column separately, that is a dummy column. Dummy column means you add a 0, 0, 0. Okay, so 9, 26, 15 on 0. Next 13, 27, 16, 0. 35, 20, 15, 0. 18, 30, 20, 0. Now the problem is going to balanced because the number of rows is equal to number of columns. So therefore it is a balanced assignment problem. So in step 1, step 2. What are the rules we follow in previous problem? So you have to select one minimum element in each row and subtract to all the elements and by itself. Okay, what is the minimum element in first row? Obviously and definitely 0 is the minimum element in the first row. So the first row, second row and third row remains unchanged. Okay, so 9, 26, select minimum element in each row. So 9, 26, 15, 0, 13, 27, 16, 0, 35, 20, 15, 0, 18, 30, 20 and 0. Step 2, in step 2 you have to select minimum element in each column. So and subtract to all the elements and by itself. Okay, what is the minimum element in first column? 9 is the minimum element in first column. So you have to subtract 9 to all the elements and by itself. So what we get? 0, 13 minus 9, 4, 35 minus 9, 26, 18 minus 9, 9. So what is the minimum element in second column? 20 is the minimum element in second column. So answer is 6, 7, 0, 10. And what is the minimum element in third column? 15 is the minimum element in third column. So 0, 1, 0 and 5. So what is the minimum element in fourth column? 0, 0, 0, 0. So select minimum element in each column. Okay. So now we are going to allocate the zeros. So what are the rules we follow in previous problems? So you must strictly follow the rules. So you have to allocate 0 only 1 zeros are there. If 1 zero is available, you have to allocate. More than 1 zero present in each row, you have to move on to the next row. In first row, how many zeros are there? In first row, there are 3 zeros. So, is it possible to allocate 0? No, no way. It is not possible. So, you move on to the next row. How many zeros are there in second row? Only 1 zero. So, you have to allocate, and the corresponding zeros make it cross. We followed in the previous problem. So, in third row, how many zeros? 2 zeros are there. So, no possible to allocate. Move on to the next row. No zeros are there. So, similarly you follow on the column wise. In first column, how many zeros are there? Only 1 zeros. You have to allocate. So, you make it on the cross on the corresponding zeros in rows. Okay, in second column, how many zeros? Only 1 zero. So, you make it on the cross on the corresponding zeros in next row. So, you have to check all the zeros allocated in each row and each column. First row, the zero is allocated. Second row, third row and fourth row, there is no allocation in zero. First column, second column, third column, no allocation, fourth column. So, what are the rules in the assignment problem? In each row and each and every row and columns, a zero must be allocated. Otherwise, you continue into the next process. Okay. So, first of all, you have to remember which row the zero is not allocated. Which row the zero is not allocated. Which row in this problem, which row zero is not allocated? Fourth row. So, you make it, select the fourth row. In this row, the zero will be definitely make it cross. So, you select that column. You select that column. In this column, zero must be allocated. You select that row. Only 3 rules we follow. Which row, first of all, you have to see which row the zero must be allocated. Zero is not allocated. You have to select that row. Immediately you see the zero must be crossed. So, you select that column. In this column, zero must be allocated. You select that row. Okay. So, marked column, unmarked row. Marked column, unmarked row. So, marked column means last column, unmarked row means marked column, marked column, unmarked row. That is the first row and third row. Marked column, unmarked row. Marked column, unmarked row. In this marking place, all the zeros have to be covered. In that marking place, all the zeros have to be covered. Otherwise, you make it wrong. Okay. So, now we have to select the element in outer area. 4, 7, 1, 9, 10, 5. So, which one you have to select? These elements. Out of these elements, we have to select the minimum element. What is the minimum element in this area? 1 is the minimum element. You have to select minimum element in out of. What is the minimum element? Minimum element is 1. So, we have to follow 3 rules in this section. What are the 3 rules? You have to subtract, add, or remaining the same elements you have to apply. So, in this making line, you have to remain this element same. Outer area you have to subtract. These intersection part you have to add. Okay. So, 0, 6 remains unchanged. 0, this is the intersection part, so you have to add 1. So 1. So out of this area you have to subtract 4 minus 1 3, 7 minus 1 6, 1 minus 1 0, and this is a remaining the same. So 26 minus 1 25, 0, 0 and 1. So next 9 minus 1 8, 9, 4 and 0. So you have to follow the previous rules. So you have to allocate the 0 if there is only 1 0 is possible, if there is only 1 0 is available. So how many zeros in first row? That is 2 0. So you move on to the next row. This is also 2 0. You move on to the next row, 2 0. Move on to the fourth row, that is only 1 0. So you must allocate the 0 and you make it cross on the corresponding zeros in corresponding columns. So this is a similar way. In similar way we have to follow the column wise. The first column, how many zeros are there? Only 1 0. So you have to allocate in corresponding columns, you make it cross. In second column, how many zeros? Only single zeros. You make it cross on the corresponding column. So obviously only 1 0, you make it allocate. So you have to check each and every row, 0 must be allocated. So first row, second row, third row, fourth row, first column, second column, third column, fourth column. Each and every column 0 must be allocated. In this problem, what are the numbers in the question? In first row, the 0 is allocated. What is the question? 9 plus 9 plus 16 plus 20 plus 0. So 20 plus 16, 36, 36 plus 9, 45. The answer is 45. Okay. Thank you girls. We will see on the next video. Thank you viewers. Thank you once again.